ਔਖੀ ਕੜੀ ਨਾ ਦੇਖਣ ਦੇਈ अपना बिरद संभाले हाथ दे राखे अपने को सास सास प्रतपाले प्रभ स्यों लाग रहो मेरा चीत आद अंत प्रभ सदा सहाय तन हमारा मीत मन बिलास पे साहिब के अचरज देख बढ़ाई हर सिमर सिमर अनद कर नानक प्रभ पूरन पैज रखाई हर सिमर सिमर अनद कर नानक प्रभ पूरन पैज रखाई वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. So I kind of wanted to touch up on the topic of the Sikh spirit, just because especially with everything that's been happening, Guru Granth Sahib Ji di Pyadvi hogi, those type of things. I feel like there's a lot of Sakhis that have kind of come before me in the past week that I feel like would be incredibly helpful in just how should the Khalsa be thinking? What should our way of thinking be? How do Sikhs, how are they supposed to live their lives? How should we be seeing things? Because I feel like as we've come out here and as we've been more and more distanced from Katha, we've started to forget how to lead our lives, right? And a lot of times, we do this, I feel like it happens a lot in politics out in America and anywhere in primarily democratic nations where we say, if you don't support this cause, you are anti-Sikhi. If you don't do this, you're anti-Sikhi. And I feel like we've made Sikhi very rigid. So I want to go over the Sikh spirit. And I want to start with what exactly is required, right? Sometimes I feel like a lot of the guilt that comes in Sikhi comes from us trying to follow a maryada that's just not possible. For example, if there's a farmer in Punjab and he's doing kheti all day long, and he's gone and he's farmed crop rows and crop rows, and he's come back and his wife has brought him langar pani to eat, is he gonna go and have a full ishnan and wash his hands 5 times and then wash the tuti and then change his clothes and sit down and say Pela Bhagwan Pojan, the first God is food, and sit down in that complete strict maryada? By the time he finishes all that, it'll already be 10, 11 a.m. and too late for him to go and farm again, right? Farmers tend to do everything either early in the morning or in the afternoon. And so in that case, if he's a good Sikh, right, their focus, obviously hath toke, langar shakalo, right? You don't have to go through that same maryada that is happening in the Taksala or in the different Jathebandiyan or Dere, right? And the reason is there's 2 paths. There's a sadhu path and there's the grist path. In the sadhu path, I've met sadhus that wash the money that they're going to matha take with, and then they'll iron it. And then they'll come and matha take with it. If as a grist you started doing that, you wouldn't find the time to get your children ready to get to the Gurdwara. You see what I'm saying? Oh, hath to ke tuti vi manj there. All these type of things. So I'm not advocating for us breaking away from maryada. I'm saying that we should, and not just me, I feel like this is how the Panth was built. We need to follow a basics out here. That basics is Amrit Chako, Kes Rakho, Bani Padho, right? Read your Bani, do your Naam Simran, do the basics of Sikhi, right? After that, you can start building on your maryada. As you start building upon it, you'll start doing all that is maryada more and more with love. But in that, what tends to happen is when we get more into Sikhi, we start to lose perspective on what does it mean to be more into Sikhi. We're like, oh, work is tying me back. If it wasn't for work, I'd be able to do more seva, I'd be able to do more Naam Simran. The thing is, Maharaj and their Bani, they say that even your kirat, your work, is also a seva to Maharaj. Maharaj kende Salok Mahalla Panjama. Uddam karedeyan jio tu, kamavdeyan sukh punch, ਧਿਆਇਂਦਿਆਂ ਤੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਮਿਲ ਨਾਨਕ ਉਤਰੀ ਚਿੰਤ. This Bani, when I read it, it's an absolute advocacy for balance. And that balance, Maharaj says, make effort. What kind of effort will you make? Dasan no andi kirtkar. What is dasan no? Das means 10. No are your nails. Do kirt that you're having to use your hands, right? Whether you're an accountant, whether you're a construction worker, regardless, go in there and put in your best effort. You don't want to end up a pant where you're trying to do seva and at the end of the day you're looking at other people's hands going, well, are you going to give me money to continue this morcha? Right? Guru Gobind Singh kende char varn ik varn karao. What is a varn? A varn is a lifestyle, a caste. Because I'm going to take all 4 of these different lifestyles, I'm going to make them into one. What were those 4? Brahman, Shudra, Kshatri, and Ves. Right? I mixed up the order, but Brahman, Kshatri, Shudra, Ves. Right? So what does that mean? The Brahman is the one that is preaching. They're the ones that are learning religious texts. They're the ones that are reading Path Bani. The Kshatri is the one that's always to defend the nation. In our case, to defend Dharma. Dharma doesn't mean our religion or another religion. In English, they translate to righteous living, but it's a lot more complex than that, right? Dharma marg is something that will get you to prem. The third is as a Shudra. You should be out, you're out there doing business, doing vapar, you're in a job. Maharaj actually says like having a business is one of the highest pun. Because when you have your own business and you're running your own company, you're able to feed others. Other people are relying on you and you're meant to be able to help them, right? So there's a Sakhi where a Guru Arjan Dev Ji sends a Sikh and he goes, I need you to go and collect the swand from the Sikh at whatever Takana. So he goes there and he gets there and the Sikh is a business owner and he is yelling at the employees, he's yelling at the customers over someone giving just a gram more of ghyo, of butter, right? Purified butter. And the Sikh is sitting there and he's going, how is this guy going to donate anything to us? He's yelling over a little bit of ghyo. He's yelling over a little bit of rice. And he gets angry. He gets upset even if 1 penny is given too much or taken too little. So then he goes, you know what, he's not going to give anything. But he goes, but Guru Arjan Dev Ji sent me, so I'll stick this through. They go to his house after he closes shop. And at his house, the Sikh business owner, he says, give me the hukum. What is Guru Arjan Dev Ji giving hukum for? The Sikh decides, I'm going to test him. Right? And he goes, before I can even tell you what Guru Arjan Dev Ji's hukum is, I need to shower with 5 bate, 5 clay pots of ghyo, of ghee. And then I will tell you. He wanted to test him, ki inni mengi cheez, is he willing to just spill it? So he brings it, but when he brings the ghyo out, he uses 2 of them just to wash the floor and the kursi of where he's going to sit and shower. And then he hands him 5 more to say, you can shower with these. And then by the time he showers and he finishes up cleaning up, he comes back out, he sees that on the bed, there's a chola made of silk, there's a treasure chest of gold, and he's folding his hands and he goes, the Sikh asks the businessman, he goes, is this for Guru Arjan Dev Ji? He goes, no, that's for you, for bringing the message of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Now tell me, what is the message? The Sikh is baffled. He goes, listen, I have to ask you. I saw you at the shop just arguing and yelling at so many people over, things being bad or things being good. And now you're just like spilling wealth. And he goes, listen, at my work, not a single penny can go up or down so that the day can come that I can put my daswand into the Guru's Ghar. Everything bad I do at work, anything that I lack at the business is a straight direct hit to that seva that I could have done for the Guru's house. And that I cannot stand. That is the mindset of a Sikh from a historical perspective. Then, like I said, Guru Gobind Singh Ji says that, if you're able to provide for others, then farming is seen as a very high, because it's all pun, it's all clean. Siddha tarticho, siddha munu, siddha wherever everything, kirt has been talked about over and over and over again inside of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And sometimes when we get into Sikhi, myself included, we start thinking, I wish I could just do prachar, I wish I could just do seva, I wish I could just go and, be a sadh. But the thing is, the Grist Marg is exactly what Guru Gobind Singh Pacha, Guru Nanak Dev Maharaj were preparing us for. So here Maharaj says, Uddam karidya. Keda Uddam? Go, work. Focus on work. Jio tum kamavdya. Go and earn a living. earn a living, and while you do that, what will you receive? Is me going to work bhakti? Maharaj says, go to work honestly, sukh punch. I will give you happiness. I will give you peace. But tu kaam te jaake honestly kaam nahi karda. You're not working hard the way Khalsa should be. And then so Maharaj says, I want you to go, I want you to work hard, and I'll give you peace. I'll count it towards your naam because you're grist. Grist is, when you have a wife, kids, or when you're choosing the path of being in the world. The other path, the sadhu, is when you're choosing the path of bhakti 24/7 and prachar and that type of lifestyle. Fir Maharaj kende, while you do that, tum prabh mil nanak utri chint. Keep meditating when you can, and when you keep doing this, tenu rab mel javega. You'll be blessed with God. Now for a sadhu, they'll be blessed with God jo 24 kante naam japan. For a grist, it's the svand of your day. 2.5 hours. Out of 24 hours, take 10% of that, put it to Maharaj. What does that look like? Your morning Netanim is about an hour. Your afternoon Netanim is about an hour. And then at night, it's about half, right? But most people, what they do is they make their morning heavy. So they'll do like an hour and a half in the morning. Irada Sab, Aarti, everything, they'll do 30 minutes. And then they'll do 10-15 minutes of Naam Simran, right? So by putting all of that together, they've put that time towards Maharaj. Or they'll come to the Gurdwara. That counts as time towards Maharaj. They'll do seva. All of these things. So seva karniya, naam japnaya, is sara kuch karna. Par Maharaj kende, tu kirt vi kar, main oh vi pravan karunga. So we've covered kirt, right? Now we come towards seva and naam. How should we contextualize our Sikhi Jivan in America, England, Canada, Australia, India, wherever we're living in the new globalized world? How do we follow that track? We look at history, okay? And when we look at history, you see how Khalsa carried themselves. Right? So there was a Sakhi, his name is Baba Tega Singh. Baba Tega Singh ji was right at the time when Khalsa Raj was about to start being dismantled. So at this point, Hari Singh Nalwa has given Shahidi, Akali Baba Phula Singh ji has given Shahidi, General Sham Singh Atari is still there, but he's starting to be distanced from the court of Maharaja Ranjit Singh by the Dogre. And as that's happening, Baba Tega Singh is this 19-year-old who loves in his band going and wrestling with people and fighting with people and horse riding. And his dad says to him one day, "Ki tu eithe hi sare nu tang karda rehna, ja ke sardaran di faujan vich la, go and put your life towards the panth. Go inside of the Khalsa military. That's what everyone does." And the Sardar of that region was Baba Sham Singh Atari. And so he says, okay, main Sham Singh Atari di faujan de vich bharti hoya na as a Kord Savar, right? So he goes and he's looking for Baba Sham Singh Atari and he's not able to find them, but he sees some Singhs. Oh, Singha nu puchda. He says, ki tusi menu dasso, how can I join Sham Singh Atari's fauj? They point at a horse rider. Kord Savar te ek Baba ji ne, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਹੈ Baba Gulab Singh. Now Baba Gulab Singh's been having a bad day. So when Baba Tega Singh walks up to them, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਅਟਾਰੀ ਦੇ ਘੋੜ ਸਵਾਰ ਫੌਜਾਂ 'ਚ ਭਰਤੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ. I would like to be in the cavalry of Sham Singh Atari. He looks down at him, he scoffs, and he says, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਮਾਲਵੇ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਕੋਲ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਸਕੋ? ਜਾ ਕੇ ਗਧੇ ਢੋ. Like, do you have any, there's different regions in Punjab, and sometimes a bit of regionalism happens where one region will make fun of the other. So, he was from Majha, he makes fun of someone from Malwa and he says, go, you guys are illiterate, you don't know the first thing about Kord Savar. And the 19-year-old Baba Tega Singh, he took offense. And he goes, Minu lagda si, I thought that Sham Singh Atari would have Sardars in his fauj. Minu ki pata si, ਉਹਨੇ ਕੁੱਤੇ ਰੱਖੇ ਆ ਭੌਂਕਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ. I didn't know that he had dogs to bark. ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਵਰਗੇ ਮਝੈਲੀਏ ਮੈਂ ਕਈ ਦੇਖੇ ਆ. I've seen so many people like you from Majha that don't know anything. If you want to throw hands, let's throw hands. That's literally how it says in Punjabi too. They go, doi haath hona hai, aajo doi haath ho lenne hai. Right? So Baba Gulab Singh was already having a bad day. ਉਹ ਘੋੜੇ ਤੋਂ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਦੋ ਕਿਰਪਾਨਾਂ ਕੱਢਦੇ ਆ. ਇੱਕ ਕਿਰਪਾਨ ਦੇ ਦੋਨੇ ਕਿਰਪਾਨਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੱਢਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ, Baba Tega Singh thinks, oh man, his kirpana are so much nicer than mine. I have like a broken one, but he's still ready. But what Baba Gulab Singh ends up saying is, pick your sword. Which one do you want to fight me with? Right? So then he goes, he picks one, and they immediately commence fighting. As they're fighting, Gulab Singh, his foot comes over a rock and he falls down. And Baba Gulab Singh says to Tega Singh, he says, Sambal ja, otke phera. Like, take care of yourself. You know, watch your foot. He says it in a mocking way. Watch your foot. Get back up and fight me. So they start fighting again, and then Baba Gulab Singh falls into the mud. When he falls into the mud, because he's like getting moved back by Tega Singh mockingly says, Sambal ja, right? He says, why don't you watch your footing now? And then so he gets back up and they start fighting again. As they're fighting, Tega Singh realizes he's up against an ustad. Unhu pata lag gaya ki main ustad bande naal lad raha hu. And Gulab Singh finds out, I'm fighting against a surma. They both know that they're worthy opponents. Gulab Singh doesn't have any marks on him, but Tega Singh has a cut on his arm, a cut across his chest. Gulab Singh is landing blows, but nothing is severe. Uthon dekhde that there's 4 Singhs running in from the shed, and immediately they bolster their weapons. They holster their weapons. They will kehne ki pata na lag jaye ki assi lad rahe si, because Sikhs fighting each other was a no-no. ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ obviously ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੇਖ ਲਈ ਸੀ ਲੜਾਈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਅਟਾਰੀ ਕੋਲ ਲੈ ਗਏ right Baba ji looks at them and he looks at Gulab Singh and he says, were you here to defend the oppressed or were you here to kill those that want to fight the oppressed the oppressors? And then he looks at Nimi Palende, Baba Gulab Singh Nimi Palende, he looks down, then he looks at Tega Singh. He says, Kyon Tega Singh? Are you here to join the military? Do you have any ounce of nimrata in you, or is all you know is how to fight? Do you even know what Sikhi is? Oh, we nimi palan there, right? Then Baba Sham Singh Atari, and this is what I really want us to take away. What he says to them next is an example of how we need to fix our mindset. He looks at Baba Gulab Singh and he says, Galti teriya, the older one. He goes, in this sama, Maharaja Ranjit Singh is under an attack. The attack that he is under is, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਬਿਰਧ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. They're getting old. They're old. Baba Hari Singh Nalwa has given Shahidi. Akali Baba Phula Singh Ji is no longer here. And the Dogre are pushing me away from the Darbar. And you're my right-hand man. And you're behaving like this. Because should I tell you how you're behaving? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੁਗਲ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜੜ, the roots of the Mughals were removed because of their lack of humility, and today you are showing that same arrogance. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੇਰਾ ਹੰਕਾਰ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਇਸ ਹੰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਜੜਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਖੋਖਲਾ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ ਹੈ. This type of ego, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਹੰਕਾਰ ਹੈ? What ego do you have? Do you think this is your Raj? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ it's not your Raj. It's not even my Raj. I'm your boss. I'm not. It's not even my Raj. If you think it's Maharaja Ranjit Singh's Raj, oda vinega hai Raj. This is Guru Gobind Singh Pacha's Raj. Let me tell you something. Maharaja Ranjit Singh ne jadon unhone ek area fateh kita si, right? They went and they took over an area. When they defeated the emperor there, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, his Gurdwai tells this. Gurdwai is the person that stays with them to make sure they have all their needs met, right? Like water and all of that. His Gurdwai writes this account. Maharaja Ranjit Singh ne jadon ho ilaka fateh kita, ਉਹ ਆਪਦੇ ਕਮਰੇ 'ਚ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ. They come into their room. They grab their dadi and they start to slap themselves. Brutally slap themselves. And as they're slapping themselves, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਾਣਿਆ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਅਕਲ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ, ਤੈਨੂੰ ਹੋਮੇ ਆ ਗਈ. Kana is a derogatory way of calling someone that only has one eye. Maharaja Ranjit Singh only had one eye. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਰਾਜ ਆ. ਤੂੰ ਕੌਣ ਹੁੰਨਾ ਆ ਹੰਕਾਰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਕਿ ਤੂੰ ਫਤਿਹ ਕੀਤੀ. And then he slaps himself again. And then he says, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, aap kende hai ki in hi ki kirpa ke saje hum hain. That these Sikhs are the entire reason that I sit where I am today. Or else there's tens of millions of poor people like me walking around. Rab aap je keh sakda hai, who am I to think that I did this? He said, my enemies have 2 arms, 2 legs. I have 2 arms, 2 legs. My enemy have 2 eyes. I have 1 eye. So what am I being egotistical about? And then as he's saying these things, he's continuously pulling his dadi and he says, don't you dare come into ego again. It is Guru Gobind Singh Ji's charan that you are serving, not your empire. And he slaps himself again and again and again. Sham Singh Atari explains this to Gulab Singh and he says, Gulab Singh, sunla, listen. You're becoming egotistical because you're sitting on top of a koda. How will you ever seek forgiveness in Maharaj's Darbar? Who are you to think this is your Raj? Who are you to think that this is your Alaka? Who are you to think this is your horse? Gulab Singh starts to cry. When he cries, he falls at the feet of Sham Singh Atari. Sham Singh Atari takes a step back. When he takes a step back, Meri charani na pa. Don't come and fall at my feet. Go inside of the Gurdwara, fall in front of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, tell the Sangat what you did, and go get your tankha. You're a tankai to this panth. It is people like you that is going to kill this panth. Why did we lose our freedom? Why are we in the situations we are in? We've lost humility. We've completely shattered our humility, and we have shattered our nimrata. Everybody today is fighting to be Pradhan. Everybody today is born a Jathedar. Nobody knows how to fall at someone's feet. Sham Singh Atari says this to Gulab Singh, and I feel like those words were echoing to my ears now. That's how powerful those words were. Then he looks at the kid, Baba Tega Singh, and he goes, you're a kid. You'll be forgiven a lot lightly, but you also need to go to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. You also need to ask for forgiveness, and then we'll move forward. Your tankha will be less though than Gulab Singh's. And so then Sham Singh Atari looks at Gulab Singh and goes, first I want you to apologize to Tega Singh. Gulab Singh Ji folds his hands and puts his head down towards Tega Singh, who's a lot younger than him. So first, note his nimrata. Second, Gulab Singh falls at Tega Singh falls at the feet of Gulab Singh and goes, forgive me for talking up to you. The nimrata of all of them. Sham Singh Atari saying everything is in Guru Sahib's charan. Gulab Singh falling to his elder. Tega Singh falling to his elder, even when everybody was in a dispute. I have not seen an interaction like that since I've been in the panth. Because we have too much ego. We know how to put each other down and slam each other down, but we don't know how to serve with nimrata. Then Sham Singh Atari says something else to Gulab Singh. Kende Teri kedi kodi khooch diggi si jehde khande kadde to bana nahi si nikaldi. He goes, what situation were you stuck in where you had to pull out your sword? Kende Guru Gobind Singh Pacha kende ki saif sarohi sahati yeh hamare peer. These shastras are our peer. They are a second form of God for us. And you today decided to claim yourself peer and pulled this karpan out without reason. This karpan is only supposed to come out against oppressors. Tell me, who was Tega Singh oppressing? Idish tenu keda very dushman dekh paya ki tenu khanda kadna paya. Gulab Singh stands quiet. He goes, the karpan will only come out when the karpan wants you to pull it out. The karpan is your peer. Jado Guru Sahib hukam karan, Guru Sahib de karaj vaste hove, then the karpan is available to you. It is not available to you for your own work, for your own emotions. He folds his hands, he says, I'm so sorry, I was hungry, I was tired, I was cranky, I was sitting on the horse, he came up to me and I just snapped. It's a lot like us, you know, I'm hangry, and we all get hangry, right? When you don't eat, when you're cranky, you snap at people. But he says, who are you to snap? The karpan, the peer, belongs to Guru Sahib. And as it belongs to Guru Sahib, it will only work when Guru Sahib says so. This level of nimrata, this level of attention towards the panth is how you are meant to interact with one another, right? At the same time, what should our mindset be towards the panth, towards everything? So now we've talked about humility, we've talked about kirt, we've talked about a balanced lifestyle, we talked about the Brahman. This was the warrior. As a warrior, you defend those that are oppressed. As a Kshatri, as a Brahman, you fall at Maharaj's charan. But how do you become a Brahman as a Gursik? You do your bhakti. You take Amrit. You keep your kiss. How do you become a Shudra? You work hard. But Maharaj says, I'm going to bless you in such... Why is this Maharaj says this is the third path I'm starting in this world. Tisra raya. Right? Why? Because they say, even as you work, I'll bless you. Even as you fight for truth, I'll bless you. Even when you pull the sword, I'll bless you. In the Gurdwara, you can be a vase. Everywhere you can clean the floors, you can mop everything. You have that humility, I'll bless you there too. This is a path of perfect balance and humility. Why is it that this panth has a Padshah Dawa? Because it's not afraid of anything. Because it knows that every action it takes is for the Guru. when we live our life that way, when we teach our children that path, right? Akali Baba Phula Singh Ji, when he was born, the Vadda Kalukara was happening. He was very young when it happened. I think he was 4 or 5. Then his father was shaheed in the Vadda Kalukara, in the genocide against Sikhs. His mother was raising him, and when he was about 10 years old, his mother passed away. The way his mother passed away was, as she was coming down the stairs, she slipped, she fell, and she could feel that she was going to leave because her injury was severe. She calls Akali Baba Phula Singh over, and she gives him a very long speech about what she wants from him. She says, do not forget that your father is a shaheed. Do not forget that these case are Guru Gobind Singh Pachas. Do not forget that your entire purpose is to serve the Khalsa Panth, is to serve this world. And as she's giving that speech, she goes deeply, and we'll go over it one day, she goes deeply into what she requires of him. She goes, I want you to put your life to this Panth, and when you draw your last breaths, I want it to be in Tarm Yud. I want it to be as you're fighting for this Panth. You know, for thousands of years, Jewish people were displaced from Jerusalem. But you know the story they would tell their children every night? Tonight you're going to sleep here, wherever they were, because they were displaced, they were beat, they were sent all around the world. And every night their mothers would tell them a story. Tonight you might be going to sleep here, but tomorrow morning you will wake up in Jerusalem. For thousands of years they had that story. Why? Because they knew who they were at the core. Khalsa Panth has that same Nischay Bharosa in their Guru. But because we went through a slight displacement, where we left Punjab and now we're in these countries, we are losing a hold of what we were meant to be. We get too into work. We have to balance ourselves. We have to do everything. A Khalsa's Jivan is to push yourselves to whatever extreme that you're able to find. That extreme being, if you're raising your family, be there for them. If you're getting married, find God in each other's charan. Find God in each other's heart, that love. If you're deciding to run a business, run it justly. Look at your employees. Think about them. Think about their livelihood. But at the same time, don't lose sight and start hurting your own business for the sake of others, because all of that is the svan. All of that is money for seva and the panth. Now you're going to do seva. Now you're going to serve the Khalsa. But when you interact with anyone else, don't have that ego that is going to make the Khalsa Panth khokla, empty. Instead, have Maharaj Ranjit Singh had Pavni. They had a lot of fear of Guru Granth Sahib Badshah in their heart. And they were able to do what they did because of that love for Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So our job, our onus today, what should we be doing? Whatever you are passionate about, whether it be in work, whether it be in your family, whether it be in Sangeet, whether it be as a sevadar of washing pandey, whatever it is, do more and inspire others to do more. Aap naam jape, avra naam japave. If you're going to engage in naam yourself, implore others to do the same. If you're washing pandey, invite your family. If you're raising a family, raise Gursikhs. If you're in your community and you're involved, go into politics. Show the world what it means to be a Khalsa. We had an Anandpur Darbar, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 52 kavi ਬੈਠਦੇ ਸੀ. ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, in that Darbar, there were granths that were translated that had nothing to do with Sikhi. In fact, Sikhi doesn't even agree with them. But the reason was, a Sikh should have enough information about the entire world that if you're sitting with anyone, you can inspire them to be a better version of themselves. You can inspire them to find God within their religion, to find the love for God within their religion. You know, last night we had some guests and they were a bit weary, you know, seeing the 10-foot karpana and everything. And when I started telling them about Sikhi, it was so difficult for them to conceive that I was telling them, follow Jesus, follow the Bible, find God. They were like, but you're a Sikh. I was like, I know. I was Sikh. That's my duty. is to bring peace and love into this world. And if each Sikh started doing that on a deeper level, we would not be fighting each other. Ki your maryada is this way, my maryada is that way. Let's just agree that we need to take Amrit, we need to keep our case, we need to jap naam, we need to do sangat, we need to do naam simran. Those are the minimums. And as we do that, let's not judge each other. We're meant to make mistakes. And outside of each other, let's do more in the community. As we get more and more involved, we will be able to see a larger global picture. Guru Granth Sahib Ji di sharani aahe. Fall at the feet of your Guru. What did Sham Singh Atari say? Jao sharani pavo. Guru Sahib de sharna vich diggo, te Maharaj tohade sare dukh pare kar denge. Sikhs don't believe in violence. Sikhs believe in peace. Sikhs believe in love. Sikhs, like I told you, our job is to be balanced individuals. But our job is also to stand up against any form of oppression. Not just on ourselves, but on others as well. I fully believe that if someone is serving other than the Sikh Panth, let them. You build another model that helps you. Everybody needs to do more. We need to get off of our couches. We need to stop making political opinions and calling in while we're eating butter chicken and drinking Shivas Regal, commenting on what the Panth is doing. And we need to understand, Naam Japo, Sangat vich aao, avdi homme tao, pande manjo. That is the Sikh spirit. The Sikh spirit is really confusing because it is bravery that is born from humility. ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੂਰਬੀਰ ਯੋਧੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ. How is that possible? It's possible because Guru Gobind Singh Ji showed us that path. That you can be both a saint and a soldier. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, the prem we need to have is to protect others and their dharm. We are not anyone's enemies. We're definitely not our own enemies, which we're starting to become. So we will continue with the Sikh spirit and exactly what the contextualization is of how Sikhs live their lives by going through various Sakhis. I'm going to be sharing Sakhis that you may not have heard, from Singhs you may not have heard, through Khalsa Raj as the Khalsa Raj came apart, through Guru Har Gobind Pacha's times, through everywhere. And so that's the series that we're going to continue on through many different books. And we'll link the book at the bottom of the descriptions as well, the different books that I'm reading in case anyone wants to read along. There's 3 or 4 main books that I'm reading through right now and kind of taking all of as the chapters go on, I'm seeing how a Sikh during Guru Har Gobind Pacha's time is the same as the beginning of Khalsa Raj, is the same as the end of Khalsa Raj, is the same as today. The Khalsa hasn't changed. They have the same behavior. Society has changed. And as society is changing, it hasn't. They've always labeled the Sikh Panth as Bagi, as rebels, because they've always said things like, yeah, I'm not, of your faith, but I want you to follow your faith. Yeah, I have nothing to do with your fight, but I want to make sure you're not hurt. Nobody does that. Everybody's in it for themselves. So this is today's lesson of Sikh spirit. Inne naal maaf karo if I said anything wrong. Waheguru ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru ji ki Fateh.